Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to the Winners and Whiners NFL Preview Show. As it happens every other week, I am your host, Scott Steehn, Roller Steehn. I am joined, as always, by my sometimes co-host, sometimes host. It's Denver's finest, Broncos, on a roll. A little bit of a stumble last week, but, still dare to dream, buddy. Just 2 games back of my fading Chiefs. You know him, you love him. It's Mason Folz. What's up, Mason Folz?
What's up, Steehn? Doing well. I'm excited for this week. Yeah, this last Sunday was a little bit of a bummer, but I had to come back to reality a little bit. I knew the Broncos couldn't keep me that happy for that long of a time period. So on to the next one, and I'm excited for the rest of the season.
You're excited about this week. We cut to the Maury show, and he says that we've determined that was a lie. So what games that really got you excited this week, buddy? Is it the Panthers Saints? Is it Patriots Steelers? What are you stoked about?
I kind of enjoy betting on the backup quarterbacks. I'm not going to lie. So I think we have a lot of those this week. So I think we're going to see a lot of interesting plays, a little bit of anarchy, and these totals are really low. I'm thinking maybe we can take advantage in some and avoid some others.
I'm looking at the list. I hadn't really noticed that. I'm looking at the list. I see teams with like maybe 3 out of 14 teams. I see maybe 3 or 4 competent quarterbacks. So yeah, that'll be fun. Looking forward to it. It's gonna be a great time, and we're gonna kick off with the New England game. And I love the fact that I have 2 Patriots guys here to talk about the hoodie and New England football. Starting with the gentleman here on my, I'm gonna guess upper right is the one, the only. He of collector of memorabilia. It's Mark Ruelle, everybody. What's up, Mark?
I'm doing great. I'm thinking I'm confident this week. I'm going to have more wins than the Patriots have points this week. Very confident.
Very good. That is a bold prediction right there. More wins than Patriots points. We were talking before the show started. I said I've never been happier to cash a -5.5 than when the Chargers scored 6 last week, and still it was plenty. No problem at all. We're going to talk about them and the Steelers. Man, this would have been a good game maybe 6 years ago. Well, we've got it today, so we'll find out what's happening there. And also somebody else that I'm going to talk about the Patriots a great deal with is the other Patriots fan now making his way. He's escaped the wilds of New England. He's now basking in the California sun. He's out there having fun in the California sun, if you will. It is the one, the only, Seamus Cole. What's up, Seamus Cole?
I appreciate the intro, Mr. Steehn. Yeah, I've been enjoying myself, but not on Sundays. In this case, Thursday probably won't be enjoyable as well. I'm sort of with Mark on this one. I feel like I'm going to get more correct predictions than Patriots wins. So I feel great.
You never know. They could bust through for like 7, 9. Boy, anything. The sky's the limit with this team. Well, that in double digits. And speaking of hot football teams, holy mackerel. He's down there in Houston. He's able to go back and forth. Whichever one of his teams wins. He's originally a Browns fan. Browns had a little trouble out there on the left coast as Joe Flacco tried to turn back the clock. Mixed results, we'll say. But you know what? Bowling Green's in a bowl game. All is right with the world. It's David Delano. Mr. Double D, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Interested and ready to talk about the games for today, especially this Thursday night shootout that we're looking forward to.
Oh man, I was going to talk about the total, but we'll get to it here in just a second. Before we get rolling, I want to remind everybody, if you would be kind enough to like and subscribe, hit that thumbs up, give us a comment. You know the drill. We love our fans, and we'd love for you to be part of the family. So click that button and subscribe to the channel. And, of course, like this video and drop us comments if you dare. And, of course, if you're looking for premium plays, everybody in your frame right now, everybody on this shot does have premium plays for sale over at the experts page on the winnersandwhiners.com website. Just head over there, check out the experts tab, and it'll give you a list of how everybody's doing, what their packages are, and a lot of good reasons why you should trust us with some of your NFL plays. And to that end, I have a very special announcement. I don't believe anybody right now knows it. In fact, I know it because we just decided it an hour ago. I'm going to be returning to the airwaves on a limited basis, guys. I will be doing daily videos for a while, at least through the end of the football season. I've had a lot of fun doing the show. I got the itch again. I've been winning, and I've kind of gotten the itch to do the videos. And I'll be honest, I miss the crowd. I miss the interaction. I miss doing the daily videos. So yeah, I'm gonna be adding those to my duties. I'm still doing my regular job. Nothing has changed there, but I am going to be expanding into the world of video. Those should be starting probably next week sometime. So keep an eye out for those. I'm sure we'll have more information. If you're not one of our newsletter purveyors, or if you do not have our daily marketing emails, for starters, you should do that. And we'll be making announcements there. I'm sure Mason will be dropping hints over there on the Discord channel. And I'm excited. I'm going to be trying to do it a deep 3 every day. So that'll be great. Anyway, all right. So let's get rolling, everybody. We've talked about it. We've previewed it. We've teased it. And now it's time to talk about it. It is the Patriots and the Steelers. That is being hosted there in the Steel City. Steelers are a 5-point home favorite. And the total, I swear Iowa's involved in this game. The total is 30. By the way, I took one of the biggest sucker bets you could take outside of trying to knock over the 3 milk bottles at the carnival. You say that looks easy. How could anybody not win? Well, I did that with the Iowa first half over 2.5. Fucking 2.5. All they had to do was kick a damn field goal. They got the ball into Michigan territory one time in the first half and promptly fumbled the ball in field goal range. And that was your only shot, for not only for the first half, but for the rest of the game. So at least I only got sucked into the first half instead of playing the first half 2.5 and the full game 6.5. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. God, that Iowa team, that offense is so bad. What a waste. What a waste of a terrific defense. All right, so now that I've got that off my chest, speaking of waste of a great defense, hey, let's talk about Patriots. They are the first team in, 90 years to go 3 straight games, allow less 10 points or less, and not win any of them. All right, let's hear it. Mark, why should we bet on the Patriots this week?
Don't come looking at me for that answer. Just when this game couldn't get any more exciting, Mitch Trubisky is starting for Pittsburgh, so bated breath, go ahead. I look at this game. You look at at this point in the NFL season, I think you start to have to put it in chunks, and now I look at it like in the last 3-week chunks, how a team done, using that as your example. And the Pats are 30th in the league in offense the last 3 weeks. Pittsburgh is 28th. The Pats are first in scoring defense. Pittsburgh's 5th. So to me, the only sure play in this game is the under. I don't care that it's 30.5. I don't care that it hasn't happened since 1993. It's the reality of these two teams right now. Neither team can score. I want to say, if you're going to put a gun to my head about the line, 5 seems high given Pittsburgh's inability to score as well. I think Pittsburgh wins the game. 5 just seems a little high. So if you're going to go for the play, go for the under all day on this one, 30.5.
It's hard to lay 5 when you think there's going to be like 16 total points scored.
Yeah,
it really is. Seamus, are we due for a big offensive outburst here by one of these two teams?
Absolutely not. We got a Thursday night game, and we all know Thursday nights have been rather low on the total scoring. This trend will probably continue. The Patriots are 9-3 on the unders in their 12 games played. The Steelers are 10-2 on the under in their 12 games played. Kenny Pickett's out, as Mark said already, and the Patriots have eclipsed the Giants for the worst offense in terms of total scoring. I don't see how the Patriots or the Steelers are going to put up more than 17 points each. I mean, the Patriots will probably hold them to like 13, and then they'll score about 6. So I feel very confident in taking the under in this one. I agree with Mark. And then, again, if you had to put a gun to my head, this would be a shootout. It's about who's going to shoot the other in the foot first and more times. So I like the under.
Okay. We're kind of redefining the term shootout here.
Yeah. It's going to be who shoots themselves in the foot more often.
It's like two guys square off in the main drag at high noon, and they each shoot themselves in the foot trying to get another holster. Yeah, I can see that.
That's exactly what it. Thank you for that. Yeah, that's perfect.
Very nice. David Murata, there seems to be an under train going by. You hopping on?
Well, everyone's giving their opinion on the total on this one, but I'm not afraid to go and talk about the side on this one as well, even though it is a little bit ugly. Like Mark said, we got to kind of look at what we know, and I think that there's also some things that we know here when it comes to the side. New England and NFL worst, 2-10 against the spread this year, and the Steelers are 7-5 straight up, but they're also 7-5 against the spread. So each time that Pittsburgh wins, they cover, and they've even had some wins that have been by a couple wins by more than 6 points, 6 points or more, when they scored less than 20 points. So I think that the Steelers, if they can get to 17 points in this game, which I think they will cover the number. Patriots 1-4 straight up on the road and 1-4 against the spread. I'll lay the 5 points with Pittsburgh in this spot.
I think we all agree that if the Steelers get to 17 points, the cover is a lock. I think that's a fair assessment. I think we're just talking about our doubt that you can get to 7, either side to get to 17. So I like it. He's bold. He's stepping out, taking the Steelers minus the 5. Mason, you got a couple options here. You're going to go your own way.
I'm going to ride with the Patriots. Oh, sorry about that, Steehn. What'd you say?
I said to quote the Fleetwood Mac song. Just a little aside that I'm known for. It's fine.
It's a good one. Well, I'm going to go with the Patriot boys here. I'm going to take the Pats plus 5, because I think this is just too big of a number. These offenses continue to struggle, and the Patriots, even though they can't score, I think they can get in field goal range, and they've shown on the defensive side of the ball that they can stop the run. They're holding their opponents to 3.2 yards per rush, which is number 1 in the NFL. I think if they stop the Steelers' rushing attack, it's going to make it really tough for Pittsburgh to score, especially with Trubisky at quarterback. I don't like him any more than I like Pickett. I think they both are struggling quarterbacks, and I think that offense is going to continue to struggle. So field goal battle, I'm going to take the plus 5.
I think you could put Mason Rudolph, Kenny Pickett, and Mitch Trubisky in a big burlap sack and just shake it until one of them came out, and you really wouldn't notice much of a difference. It's rare that that a team has 3 quarterbacks that are all just as good as the other one. It's not a good thing in this case. So I'm on the under train here. As somebody pointed out, the under is 19-5 combined between these two teams. Patriots have scored 13 points in their last 3 games, so that's not ideal. Mitch Trubisky has seen significant action in 2 games this season. In those 2 games, the Steelers have scored 10 points each time. I think anybody thinking the Steelers are getting to 17 is a wild-eyed optimist. Give me the under 30, and I would play that down to, well, it's not going to go down. I really don't think they're going to bust through 30, but even if it got to 28 and a half, I'd play it down to 28 and a half. This is just going to be all kinds of ugly. You thought you've seen shitty Thursday night games. Just wait. All right, moving to David, do you get mad when we call it the mistake by the lake?
You muted me.
I don't know if I get mad. I'm so used to hearing it. But is it? I mean, I don't think it's still.
Okay. Well, at least the Monongahela, is it the Monongahela or the Cuyahoga River that was on fire?
Fire. I technically grew up in Toledo, so I think it was the Cuyahoga, but I'm not sure. I have to.
Yeah, I think you're right. So the river's no longer on fire. So that's a good move in the right direction there for civic improvement. This one is the Browns. They're going to entertain the Jaguars. Speaking of likely backup quarterback, as the Browns are now a 3-point home favorite, and 31 is the total. Oh my God, what are we in the 1960s all of a sudden in the NFL? Good grief. That's Mark. Why don't you talk about a couple of shitty teams that aren't the Patriots?
It's rather shocking that Flacco is starting an NFL game in 2023, and he might be the best quarterback in the game in this particular game. I like the Browns in this one. I think the Browns have done very good against pass, particularly over the last 3 weeks. They're second against the pass. And to make matters worse, the Jags are awful running the ball right now, 31st in running over the last 3 weeks. So that's going to force Beathard to throw the ball, which he's serviceable, but he's certainly not Lawrence. And the other thing that jumps out at me, the Jags are dead last in the NFL in the last 3 weeks in red zone defense, allowing touchdowns. So if the Browns can get close, they're getting in the end zone. I think they'll do enough to take this one. I like the Browns -3.
Okay, very good. Seamus Cole.
Got to agree with Mark again. I like the Browns -3 in this one. Trevor Lawrence is technically questionable, but based on the results of last night, he seems like he's not going to be able to play. I'd be surprised if he does. Even his brother, Joey Lawrence, as Steehn pointed out, he's not going to be playing either for the Jags. I had to throw that one back in there. I didn't forget.
100%.
So, yeah, but I do like the Browns. Their defense is a whole lot better. They're number one in yards against and passing yards against. And if you're going to throw out Bradford there against the number one passing defense, it's going to be a long night. So I like the Browns in this case at home -3.
Maybe his distant cousin Martin Lawrence would have a shot. You're so crazy. David, it's rolling downhill. Here come the Browns, buddy. You going to make a homer pick?
I think I will make a little bit of a homer pick. I liked it better before that Monday night game. I thought that the Browns, as a 3-point dog, everyone would jump on the Jaguars and it'll be a nice bounce back spot for them. Now, if Trevor Lawrence getting hurt, the Browns are a 3-point favorite. I think that this total might be a little too low, although I would kind of wait for the forecast. I know that, it's hard kicking field goals over there by the lake, but it might be a little too low. Right now, they designated Joe Flacco to the practice squad, but I do think that by Sunday he is going to be the starter again. The weather's too bad. That could be the reason for maybe starting DTR if they think that they're going to run it more. But I do like the way the Browns are playing right now. That score last week, that 36-19 game against the Rams, if you watched it, I think it might have been one of the more deceiving scores all season. If that extra point doesn't get missed at the end of the game, it could go the other way. That's why it was 20-19, and the Rams scored 16 points in the last 4 minutes of the game. Like Mark said earlier, the Jags right now, they're 30th in the NFL in yards per carry, rushing-wise. So even if the weather is bad and also having a backup quarterback that's working against them, I'm going to take the Browns to get the big win at home. And last thing, Browns are 5-1 against the spread at home, which is tied with the Dallas Cowboys for the best against the spread team at home in the NFL. So I'll take Cleveland.
All right, very good. It looks like it's gonna be a nice, beautiful day there in Cleveland, as we've got about 90% chance of rain with 20-mile-an-hour plus winds. So, good times indeed. I don't know. I don't know that there's a more miserable place to be in the winter when it rains than by one of the Great Lakes. Just absolutely dreadful. David, did you catch some? You got some lake effect snow there, buddy, right? You're still on Lake Erie, right?
Right, me right now?
And so, no, not now in Houston, David. When you lived in Toledo.
Oh yeah. I got a lot of that all the time. 15, 18, 20 inches of snow, wind chill -10. Yeah, car not starting in the winter for.
Yeah, I've done a couple of drives up there trying to get to gigs, and it's just brutal, absolutely brutal. So at least it won't be snow. We'll see what happens. Mason, there seemed to be a brownout here. Are you going to be a part of that? Are you going to lone wolf it?
I'm not going to lone wolf it yet. I left that for actually I think David's last pick against the Steelers. I think that was the lone wolf pick there. So we'll make sure to remind everyone of that. But with this Browns game at home, they are 5-1 at home, like David was saying, and against the spread. And with Lawrence being questionable, I like this Browns defense a lot better at home. I know some of their numbers a little skewed on the road, but at home they've been really tough to beat. I don't know who's going to be at quarterback, but this spread's small enough, and I think these Jags teams really going to struggle with a backup quarterback and not being able to run the ball against this defense. So I'm going to ride with the Browns -3 as well.
Does no one care that C.J. Beathard went 9 for 10 last night? Do nobody care about the makings of a possible quarterback controversy in Jacksonville? No, nothing.
I know he's 2 for 10 in his career as a starter.
Oh, you're gonna pull out details, huh? All right, fine. If you're gonna go,
I should say 2 and 10, not 2 for 10. Actually, 2 for 12, really.
You're gonna go all stats and whatnot. The best thing you can say about C.J. Beathard, he was better than Tyler Boyd throwing the football last night, so that was good. And as we talk about it, this will be released on Thursday. People talk about last night. We're recording this on Tuesday, so that's a good time for our weekly public service announcements to always make sure of the injury news, line movement, things like that. We're giving you our best guesses here, but things definitely change, and there's a lot of quarterback injury situations here with Lawrence and on the Cleveland side with DTR. Can we say likely to be back?
DTR?
Yeah.
I think that he'll probably be back. It's just a matter of whether or not they want to start him or not. I think Flacco should start. Honestly, I thought he looked really good until that mistake with about 6 minutes left in the game. But if it's just terrible weather and you don't think you're going to be able to throw the ball and you want somebody mobile, but I think Flacco should start.
Yeah, except for that mistake that cost him the game, I thought he did fine. Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how did you enjoy the play? I'm going to have to make it a clean sweep here for those Brownies. I just don't have the confidence in this Jaguars team without Trevor Lawrence. And I also don't have confidence in the Jaguars defense. I know Mark touched on it earlier. Cincinnati, a team that had struggled a little bit offensively, running Jake Browning out of Washington last night, made him look like Joe Montana. Absolutely terrific night for all the quarterbacks that actually were quarterbacks. Wide receivers, not such a great night for Cincinnati, but I thought Browning did a great job, kept him in that game, and was able to execute when he needed to. I've got to play the Browns here, minus the 3 points, whether it's DTR or whether it's Flacco. I don't hate the under. I know it's hard to take an under 30 and an under 31, but that is going to be the weather is going to be shite in Cleveland this weekend with high winds and likely some rain as well. So keep an eye on that total. My advice would be if you can still get it at 31 by the time you see this video, probably ought to grab that too. So let's move on. Talking about Charm City as Baltimore welcomes the Rams to town, coming all the way from the left coast, playing one of those dreaded East Coast games across time zones rather. Ravens at home, coming off a bye, 7.5-point favorites. A positively arena-like total of 40.5 awaits this one. Mark Ruelle, what you got here?
I could be running into lone wolf territory here. Despite the Ravens' dominance over the NFC, despite the bye week, there's something that tells me the way the Rams are playing now, 3 straight wins, their offense has been quietly humming along. They're 3rd in rushing over the last 3 games, 11th through the air. Even their defense is playing much better. They're 7th in scoring during that time. I like the Rams with 7.5. The hook is selling me on this one. I think this one's going to be a little closer than people think. The Ravens defense, which has been obviously excellent all year, but if you quietly look deep into the stats, they're 29th against the run in the last 3 weeks. The Rams are respectable, 3-2-1 against the spread on the road. I'm going to take the Rams plus 7.5.
Okay. All right. Rams plus 7.5. Seamus, can we mark you down for one of those as well?
Unfortunately not, although I don't mind that pick. I was honestly tossing and turning between those two, minus 7.5 or plus 7.5, but in the end, I decided to go off course, and I'm taking the over in this one. I think the addition of Kyren Williams into the running game for LA has revitalized the offense tremendously. They've scored 36 and 37 in the last 2 games since he's returned. The Ravens have scored 30-plus points in 5 out of their last 6 games. And while the Ravens do have a good defense, the Rams are still top 15 in almost every offensive category. And the Ravens are also number 1 in the rushing attack, So all signs point to the over in this case. So that's why I like it.
All right, very good. We got one of each, David Delano. We need you to be a tiebreaker here, my friend. Well, we got an over and a side, so you got some room. What you got?
Well, when I first looked at this, I really wanted to take the Rams. It does look like a bit much, and I will point out right now I am seeing quite a few sevens like DraftKings and Caesars, for example, and I think it just really depends, that hook or not, which side you're on. And I'm going to go ahead and take the Ravens -7 in this one. I mean, Baltimore's 9-3 straight up, but 7 of those wins have been by 8 points or more. And if you take that factor into taking it down to 7, 8 of their 9 wins have been by at least 7 points. So when Baltimore wins, they usually win by margin. Like Seamus was saying, I also like the over a little bit, but I'm going to go with Baltimore because I do have more confidence that Baltimore gets their points, and maybe late in the game, the Rams get over aggressive and make some mistakes with turnovers. Rams 4-4 in their last 8 games, 2 of those wins over the Cardinals, and then they had that 1 point win at home against Seattle in this game against the Browns. That was also at home that we just talked about. Shorter, more rest. The Rams played a little bit of a later game on Sunday. Bye week. I want to take the Rams, but I'm gonna have to take the Ravens -7. When I go against Baltimore in spots like this, they usually embarrass me, so I'm going to back the Ravens.
All right, let me ask you this: if you had to use the same line that the rest of us do, would you take them -7? Would you take them -7.5? Sorry.
Ooh.
Well, yeah, because I don't. If I'm taking a -7, you never really want to go with the tie. So yeah, I would take them. I would take the Ravens. I think that they're going to win this by at least 8.
All right, bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see how it works out. Mason, what you got here?
I'll be taking the Ravens -7.5 too at home off a bye. I think they're going to be prepared. The Rams, like David was saying earlier, yes, they did end up pulling away from the Browns at home, but they scored a lot of points late. It was closer before, and they have some injuries on the offensive side of the field. The Rams do, with Nakua possibly being out. I think the Ravens are going to be able to stop the Rams pass game and slowly pull away as their offenses continue to roll. They continue to roll on the ground, and Lamar can beat people in the air as well. And I just don't think this Rams team is ready to compete with the Ravens. So I'm going to roll with them -7.5.
Okay, very good. Yeah. Both Nakua and Higbee are questionable for this one, so that certainly could put a dent in the passing game of the Rams. However, I don't think it matters. As Mark brought up, this has been Kyron Williams here over the last 3 games. He's averaged 6.8 yards per carry. In those games, Rams 3-0, winning by margin, 13.6 points per game. And we talk about this Ravens defense. You think automatically what a great defense they are. Well, guess what? Not that good, especially against the run. They're just 22nd in the league against the run, giving up 4.3 yards per carry. Baltimore has injury problems of their own. They're going to be without all-world tight end Mark Andrews for the rest of the season. And all-world cornerback Marlon Humphreys is questionable for this one. So that could offset some possible depth problems there with the Rams receivers. And like Baltimore, when the Rams run, they win. And I think LA can have some success on the ground, keep that Baltimore offense on the sidelines, and at least, if not win it outright, keep it close. I love the hook. Give me the Rams +7.5. All righty, into the breach once more we go, boys, as we look at the NFC North division as the Lions come to Soldier Field. Speaking of great weather, to take on the Bears. Lions 3-point road favorites. 41 is your total right chair. Mark, kick us off.
I first like the over in this one. I look at the Lions. They're top 10 in all major offensive categories, particularly over the last 3 weeks. Their running game has been outstanding. The Bears are bottom 5 in all those major categories. In recent weeks, the Lions are 30th in allowing red zone opportunities into touchdowns, and the Bears are 25th. So if I'm going to, my first and foremost pick here is the over, barring a horrendous weather day, which I'm not, at least as far as I've seen, I haven't seen anything yet on that level. And I do like the Lions -3. That seems like a reasonable number here for a team they should beat and get them back on track. So my first play is the over 41, and I like the Lions -3.
All right, very good. What do we got there, Seamus Cole?
I've got the Lions -3. they should beat the Bears, as Mark said previously. The Lions are 8-4 against the spread, and in every single win they've had, except for week 1 against the Chiefs, they've won by at least 3 points. I'm not sure why the Bears are only 3-point underdogs, considering they couldn't score a touchdown last game against the Vikings. I thought that was a bit strange. So this seems like an easy pick for me. I like the Lions -3, and the Lions are also 5-1 on the road, so they're more than capable of beating Chicago in Chicago.
Okay, very good. David Delano, what say you?
I'm with Mark on this one. I like the over. I think that it's dropped a little bit too much and maybe a little bit of a overcompensation for the weather. The last 3 times they played, the Lions have put up at least 31 points against the Chicago Bears. And the last time they played, they did that, turning the ball over 4 times, and Detroit possessed the ball for less than 20 minutes. So Chicago had the ball for over 40 minutes in that game, and the Lions are still able to put up those points. Now, the Bears have a strong rush defense, second in the NFL, and yards per carry allowed, which I think is going to force Detroit to go to the air. On the other side, if the weather's bad, I think that the Bears can still get their points. They've ran for at least 188 yards in 3 out of the last 4 games when they played Detroit head-to-head. Either way, I think that this 41 is too low. I'm going to go with the over.
Mason Folz.
Yep, I'm going to be riding with the over 41 as well. As I love this Detroit offense. I think they can easily put up enough points to push this total over the number. They did struggle against the Bears earlier in the year. That game was closer, but if you remember, it was also high scoring, as I think that could happen again. But on the other side of the ball for Detroit, I see Chicago having a chance to score, as they've given up 38 points, 26 points, 29 points, and 28 points as of late, as their defense just hasn't impressed me that much. So I'm going to trust Fields, which is a little scary to say, but I'm going to take the over 41 as well.
All right, very good. Yeah, I'm going to do the math for you there, Mason. They've given up 30.2 points over the last 4 games. And people say, well, what about the Bears, though? Bears don't have very good offense. They probably won't give up that many to the Bears. Well, they gave up 26 to the Bears 3 weeks ago. So, yeah, that's the only time the Bears have scored more than 17 points since October 29th. This is a Detroit Lions defense that is regressing, and they look a lot like they do last season. Somebody talked about it. Both these teams like to run the football. They're number 3 and 4 in rushing yards per game. However, both defenses are very good against the run. Top 5. Bears are number 1, by the way. But 3 weeks ago, these teams managed to run for 298 yards. Now, the weather, of course, going to be windy, going to have some rain, maybe going to have some snow. I don't care. I think they're going to have to air it out. I think you're going to see a lot of 10-yard crossing patterns and things like that. I don't think anybody's going to be throwing the ball deep. But you got Justin Fields, so probably not going to be throwing the ball deep. Anywho, last game, the total was 47.5. It landed 57, and now we've dropped it 6.5 points. Just 3 weeks later, yeah, the weather's going to be a factor. Is it going to be that big of a factor? Well, take a look at that Philadelphia game. It was windy and rainy the entire game, and it landed on, 105? I don't know how many points they put up there, but they put up a shit ton. So, yeah, I ain't scared. I'll take the over 41 in this one. Hey, kids, if you don't enjoy NFC North football, how about some NFC South? Oh, boy, 2 in a row. Let's talk. I joked a couple weeks ago. It seems like there's like 18 teams in this fucking division because we seem to have them. I know they play a lot of early games. They don't play a lot of Monday night games. They don't play a lot of Sunday night games. They don't play a lot of prime time or late afternoon on Sunday games. But we get them in that early window almost every week, and this week is no exception as the Panthers travel to the Big Easy to take on the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans is -5. And, of course, keeping with the trend, 37.5 is your numero. Mark Ruelle, give us some insight to this game.
Whew. So you got to the Saints will not burn me again. I keep getting fooled that they'll be decent, and I'm looking at a team that's 0-5 against the spread at home. They're 2-8 against the spread overall. 5 points seems just way too high, even if it is Carolina. Carolina can't score, but the Saints defense has faulted in recent weeks. They were 29th in the league in points allowed over the last 3 games. You're also looking at Derek Carr possibly not playing, although the concussion protocol hasn't meant what it used to be lately, but he's in protocol. And if it's not him, it's Winston. And Winston 0-2 last year as a starter for the Saints, including 5 picks and 2 touchdowns. I'm going to take the Panthers here, +5.
Okay. Yeah, you made the bold prediction on the Panthers a few weeks back. I believe it was a month ago when they had not won a game and had not covered a game, and you took them to do both, and they did just that against
this is less Panthers and more Saints at this point, I think.
There you go. Very good. All right. He's down on the Panthers to keep it close. That's a bold call. Seamus, you going to be bold?
I tell you what, I feel a whole lot less confident now that Mark picked the Panthers. But I'm sort of going to do reverse logic here. I like the Saints primarily just because of how little I like the Panthers in this case. The Panthers have the second worst scoring defense and the third worst offense in terms of yards per game. They're a mess on both sides of the ball. And the Saints, I think they can pull away at home. They did decently enough against the Lions last week. They've fooled me so many times, as Mason and I have been on that train of we don't know what to think of with the Saints. But honestly, this is just, I don't like the Panthers. They haven't done anything recently well. They fired their head coach. They're still a mess, and they have yet to win a game on the road. I like the Saints at home in this case with the points.
Okay, very good. First we had alternative facts, and now we have reverse logic. So that's hard to argue with, right? It's
not crazy if it works, right?
That's absolutely correct. David, you're going to pick a side here, or are you going to bail?
I'm going to pick a side on this one, and the reason that we all mentioned, getting burnt by the Saints, and even how you mentioned having personal vendettas, is because really anyone who's been betting on the Saints this year should have a personal vendetta. They've been burning everybody. They're 2-9-1 against the spread, and I know in a situation like this, the Panthers have also been terrible, but at least the Panthers, we know that they're not expected to win, right? The Saints are 1-8-1 against the spread as a favorite. Why do they keep being favorites each week? I understand why they're a favorite here, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the Panthers plus the 5 as well. Ever since that bye week, I know that the Panthers haven't won a lot of games, but they haven't been as terrible. Other than that loss to the Cowboys where they got destroyed, they have been competitive. A couple 3-point losses. They had that win a little bit over a month ago against the Texans, but they have been competing. And I mean, at 1-11, I think at some point this Carolina team probably wins another game. I'm not positive if it's this one, but I would rather take those 5 points than expect New Orleans to win by margin. So I'll take the Carolina Panthers plus 5 as well.
David issuing the cry of every gambler, they're due. They're due. You know they're going to get another win. Very good. I thought putting $500 into Dogecoin was a terrible investment, but that's nothing compared to the New Orleans Saints, who will make Derek Carr, the 6th highest paid quarterback in the league next season. Yikes. Mason, what do you got here, buddy?
I'm also on the Panthers plus 5 for very similar reasons to the other guys on the Panthers, as I simply can't bet on the Saints anymore. I've been saying it all year. This last Sunday, guess what I did? Sitting on the couch right before game started. Well, the Saints, they'll win this one. Bet on them again. They lose, and I've promised myself that I'm officially stopping. I also have noticed that the Saints have lost 3 games in a row. They're not playing great football. And the last time these two teams played, it was only a 3-point game. I think Carolina is playing better ball right now, and I think this one's going to be closer than people think. So I'm going to ride with the Panthers plus 5 as well.
All right, very good. I just like to take an opportunity to say you motherfuckers are crazy. Carolina 2-8-2 against the number New Orleans 2-9-1. That's like picking a favorite out of your 2 ugliest kids. No. I'm playing the under 37.5 in this one. Look, Carr, he has a bad shoulder, a rib injury, and he's in concussion protocol. He's a banged up knee away from being the Black Knight and Monty Python and the Holy Grail. No. Famous Jameis, 2 touchdowns, 5 picks this year. That's not ideal. He's going to make mistakes. Both of these teams want to run the football, but guess what? Neither one of them very good at it. They're 27th and 28th in the league in yards per attempt. I think we're going to see a lot of draining clock, a lot of short runs, and a lot of punts. Give me the under 37.5, and anybody that played on a side in this game, you have my sincerest condolence. Hey.
Steve,
Huh? What?
I love how you busted my balls on whether or not I take a side or bailed, only so that you could bail. I just
Damn right.
that
Damn
out.
right. Damn. Couldn't let that slide by. Now, see, if you'd have taken a total, then I wouldn't have been bailing. I'd have been just jumping on the bus. You couldn't put a gun to my head and make me take one of these fucking teams. Jesus Christ. I admire everybody who had a strong opinion on his side. Jesus, that's just throwing shit in the wind there. Okay. If you love that one, you're really going to like this one. Why quit a winner? We're going to stay in the NFC South as the Buccaneers come to the other Mercedes Dome. Are they still both the Mercedes-Benz Domes now? New Orleans and Atlanta, are they still both the Mercedes Dome? Anybody know?
I believe so. Unless that just changed this year.
My personal assistant to look that shit up. Falcons, home favorites, because somebody's got to be. 2.5 is the number there. 39 is your total. Mark Ruelle, you got a side in this one?
Crazy like a fox, Mr. Steehn. Crazy like a fox.
That's right.
You know what? I do. I like the Bucs in this one. I think, don't look now, but the Bucs have found a running game over the last 3 weeks. They've looked impressive. And the Falcons, while they won the first game 16-13, they held the Bucs to 73 yards in that game, but that included Grady Jarrett in the middle of the defense, and he's gone with an ACL, and they have let up a ton of rushing yards over that span while he's been out. I like the idea of Mayfield having time to throw in this one with some play action, and I'm going to take the Bucs with the 2.5.
All right, very good. Seamus Cole, there's some Bucks out there. Are you jumping in?
No, I'm going to be flying high in this one. I like the Falcons in this case at home with the points. The Falcons are winners in their last 2 games, and they're 4-2 at home. The Bucks, although they did win last week, they're still 2-6 in their last 8 games. I don't trust that trend at all. And the Buccaneers have scored 21 or less in their last 4 games, despite their advanced rushing. And the Falcons have scored 23 plus in 4 of their last 5. So it's going to be close. I do like the Falcons, though, to just pull away with just enough weapons, and Bijan Robinson and maybe Kyle Pitts, too, that'll help out. I got screwed over by the Bucs 2 weeks ago, so I'm going to go with the Falcons in this case.
Okay. Always a good strategy when it comes to sports betting. Holding a grudge. Nicely done. David, which one of these teams has wronged you?
Well, I was looking at writing a lot of angles and points on this one and arguments, and the stuff that I came up with, I'm not sure that it's really that good on either side, and I don't think that the odds makers really came up with one that good either, because I think they're like, Falcons are at home. All right, we'll give them 2.5. Desmond Ridder, if he does have to come late in the game, if he does have to come through and make big plays, I'm not so sure that I, trust him. I mean, 121 yards passing last game, 168 in the one before that. Hard to trust Baker Mayfield, but I do think he does have a higher ceiling in this game. And it's simply, when you're looking at not loving either team, I've got to take the dog in this one. I will take the 2.5, and I'll take the points because, this could be a 17-16 type game. So give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the 2.5.
Okay. Anybody else notice that Baker has been apparently kicked out of the Heisman House? Haven't seen Baker in many Heisman House commercials lately. Probably just an accident. I'm sure he's in the other room watching TV.
He's really focused on getting the Bucs in the playoffs.
That's right. Yeah, and the fact that I was remiss in saying this is a battle for first place there in the AFC or the NFC South. As the Falcons are 6-6, Bucs are 6-7, right? Is that all right? 5-6, I don't know.
Something like that.
Something bad.
Yeah. Start looking at this division race in week 17 when it matters. So yeah, that's it's gonna be fun. Mason, you gonna enjoy watching this one? Is this a kickoff to final whistle game for you? Can't put it down?
Probably not. Hopefully I see it on Red Zone a few times, but I'm going to be taking the Bucs plus 2.5 as well. Is Atlanta, they're only 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 games. The Buccaneers, they've been running the ball better, like Mark was saying. They've also been finding Mark Evans a lot more, which has been good to see. I think that him and Baker's connection are going to allow them to consistently move the ball in this game. I also saw that they're holding their opponents to 3.9 yards per rush. I think if they can shut down Bijan and make Ritter beat them, it's going to be tough for the Falcons, and I think Baker's going to come into this one motivated and help the Bucs win this game outright. So I'm going to take the Bucs money line, actually. I'm going to switch it up. I like the Bucs.
All right, taking a little extra cash there, a little extra swizzle, if you will, on the Buccaneers. Nicely done. Once again, it's an NFC South game. I want no part of a side. Sorry, God bless you guys for all taking a side in this one. Once again, I'm pulling the ripcord, and the parachute's going to open as I take the under 39 right here. These two offenses are extremely inefficient. First time they played Falcons, the Falcons put up 401 yards of total offense and scored 16 points. Nicely done, boys. You got an entire touchdown in that game. The Bucs against the run have been solid over the last 3 seasons. They ain't been good over the last 3 as they've given up right at 400 yards over the last 3 games on the ground. Tampa Bay coming off a game against Carolina where they put up 21 points against the second worst scoring defense in the league. Here's a surprise. Atlanta, 7th best scoring defense in the league. I don't think we're going to see a lot of this game on the red zone. I've got cut-ins, the over-under at 5.5, and I'm probably going to play the under as well. For the total in this one, I just don't see the points, boys. I see a lot of coup, and I see a lot of whoever that hack that kicks for, is it still Suckup for the Buccaneers?
Yeah, I think it is. Might be Suckup. Yeah.
All right, very
Great
good.
Name.
Another Chiefs cast-off. Another Mr. Irrelevant still in the league, by the way. Regardless, I'm going to take the under 39. I think you're going to be seeing a lot of these guys. And I guarantee you we'll know who the field goal kicker is for Tampa Bay by the end of this one. All right, moving to the AFC South as the Colts travel to the AFC North. Bengals take on the Cincy Boys. Colts are a road favorite of 1 point. The total in this one is 41. Mark Ruelle, interesting game here. A couple of teams that are kind of hanging on, both Colts hanging on to a playoff spot. Bengals looking to make a move with their backup quarterback. Who gets it done here?
Yeah, this is, you don't hear a lot of Shane Steichen talk for Coach of the Year, but he's got to be in the running. I mean, he went with a rookie quarterback and is now getting by with a veteran, has been more known for his mustache than his playing ability. But in this one, I like the over. Cincinnati's quietly improved this ground game in recent weeks. They ran the ball well last night. They're 7th in rushing yards per attempt over the last 3 games. The Colts are just 24th against the run. Meanwhile, the Colts are throwing the ball very well, 10th through the air recently, and the Bengals are 30th in pass defense. So I think we're going to see a bit of a shootout in this one. And the Colts have been getting into a lot of shootouts as of late anyway with their defense. So I'm going to say the over in this game. I'm not sure about the line. That's kind of how I feel what David said about the last game. I think they were kind of lost on this one, especially after Monday night. Where do you put this spread? The Colts have won 4 in a row. The Bengals look good. So I'd stay away from the side, but I do like the over in this game, 41.
Okay. Seamus, you're going to take a total, or you jumping on a side here?
I'm jumping on the side. I feel confident in the Colts in this case. I think the odds makers had to panic a little bit with Browning's success, and they just stuck out a -1 there. So I do like the Colts in this case. They're 8-4 against the spread this year in the 12 games they've played. They're also 4-1 on the road and a top 10 offense in nearly every category. The Bengals, Browning did play well. I'll give him that, but this might be another Will Levis thing. Like, we don't know. We should probably hold off on the bandwagon for a couple weeks at least. And the Colts are quietly, very quietly, on a 4-game winning streak. They have the momentum heading into this game. So I like the Colts at -1.
All right, very good. I will say this for Browning. I thought that he not only played well, I thought he was flawless. I thought that was
he did very well. I'll give him this game. Let me see what happens next game.
I agree. David, what do you say?
Yeah, I really don't disagree with either of these guys. I think this could be a high-scoring game. I do want to kind of hold off and see what the weather looks like in this one. But with Seamus, I like the Colts in this game. I mean, the Bengals, especially at home, they're very, very pass happy. The most pass-happy team in the NFL at home. They throw the ball 71% of the time. With Browning looking like Dan Marino the other day, I think that is going to continue. Now, the thing for this, though, is the Colts so much better on the road than at home. They are 6th in the NFL in yards per pass attempt allowed on the road. And when it comes to the Bengals defensively at home, they've struggled. They are 30th against the pass. And then when it comes to the rush, they're 31st against the rush. And that's not total yards. That's yards allowed per play. Colts 4-1 against the spread. On the road, I'm going to back Indianapolis in this one.
Okay, very good. Yeah, I think the Bengals players mostly have stomach problems after eating Skyline chili on Saturday and then puking all Saturday night. So, they're usually weakened there when they play at home. Mason, what do you say here? You jumping on the Colts?
I am. I'm going to be taking the Colts -1 as well. I know that Browning looked decent last night, and everyone's talking about that offense. But on the other side of the ball for the Bengals, they've struggled defensively. They're giving up 388.2 yards per game right now, which is dead last in the league. They're also giving up 4.8 rush yards allowed per game, as I think Zach Moss is going to have another big game. And Pittman's been a big option for Minshew. They've been throwing the ball well. And the Bengals, they're giving up 7.6 yards per pass again. They're struggling to stop the run and the pass. I think Minshew's going to continue to roll. And like the guys brought up earlier, a quiet 4-game win streak because they got the momentum right now, and I think they're going to stay hot on the road in this game.
Yeah, I think you guys have nailed it with the Colts. That's what I'm on as well. We've talked about their road record. They're 5-1 straight up and against the spread on the road. And I also believe you'll see pitchers come up and they will be outstanding for the first 2 games. And then people start to get a book on them. They start to watch tape, might figure out the tendencies. And all of a sudden they fall back to earth. And I think that's going to happen with Browning. Wasn't a lot of tape on him in the NFL. And now they're able to check out tendencies, patterns, and I think that's going to help immensely with this game. And finally, here's the worst reason of all. I've gone broke this year fading the Colts. I haven't liked this team. I don't think they're very good. All they go out there to do is win, and they cover. I'm tired of fighting them. I'm on the bandwagon. Give me Big Blue -1 point. And finally, boy, we saved this one for the end. Wouldn't want to miss this one, guys. It's the Texans at the New York Football Jets. Texans 6.5 road favorites, 32.5. I can't remember the last time we've had 3 totals under 35. That's pretty incredible. 32.5 is the number. Once again, for the last time today, we'll kick it off with Mr. Ruelle.
I almost hesitate to say this, but I looked at the Texans, and I like the Texans. I think the Texans are going to win this game. But they are 500 this year against the spread. And I think they're the kind of team, a young team, that there's a line that you can go too far past, and that's probably more than they can be expected to do. And I think 6.5 is a little high. I also, for the Jets' sake, I actually like that they're going to probably play Simeon this week, who career-wise, 60% completion rate, which is better than they got going, and a 2-to-1 touchdown to interception stats. And, he's playing in lieu of Zach Wilson's "I don't wanna" argument. So if Zach Wilson's not going to play, I'm going to go with. I like Simeon. I think the Jets' defense is decent, certainly good against the pass. And this is the first time I'm going to get to see Stroud reacting to a cold and a weather game on the road, which I think is interesting. They've played the last 3 at home. They've had a comfort level. I went with the Texans last week. I loved them in the 3rd game in a row at home. But I'm going to take the Jets this week to 6.5, getting the 6.5 points at home.
Okay. I know Mason loves hearing about how good Trevor Siemian is. He probably remembers those days pretty darn well there in Denver. Seamus Cole, we got one for the Jets, Jets. What do you say, buddy?
First, I want to give props for Mark for being a lone wolf in the Bengals Colts, right?
Oh, that's right.
He was the lone wolf.
Right. All right.
I just want to throw that out there. And then
we'll see the graphic. We'll see the graphic.
We'll see that. And then I do want to go against Mark for sure. I like the Texans in this case, -6.5. The Texans have scored an average of 24.3 points a game. The Jets are 29th with an average of 14.3 points. So the difference there is paramount. Zach Wilson said, "Nah, I'd rather not be the quarterback." So that's going to lead to some controversy, which is very interesting. And while the Jets have a decent defense, as Mark pointed out, the Texans are actually giving up less points per game than the Jets this season. Whether that's a combination of bad offense from the Jets or something else, I like the Texans and CJ Stroud to wreak havoc on the Jets defense. Nico Collins is back. He looks like he's returning the form. Excuse me. And I just believe that the Texans can cover by at least a touchdown.
Okay, very good. David Delano, are we going to lone wolf Mr. Ruelle again on this one?
Well, we'll see. With Seamus pointing out the Texans giving up less points, even though the Jets are better defensively in a lot of areas. I think it's because turnovers, bad quarterback play, which has put their team in tough situations, and also the Jets have been terrible with time of possession, and it's just getting worse as the Texans are trending in the opposite direction. I'm going to go ahead and take the Texans here, minus the 6.5. The quarterback situation in New York, it's just a mess. We all know about it. They're waiting for Aaron Rodgers to walk through that door, I guess, to play when they're 4-10 and risk it all. I'm not understanding what that is. They've got Trevor Siemian coming in. They signed my boy Brent Rippon just in case they need him. I just can't back a team that I just don't think is going to score. Even if the defense plays well, I don't know if they're going to get more than 10 points against the Texans. And CJ Stroud, he's played in some really bad weather games at Ohio State. I think he'll be able to get enough done here. I'm backing the Texans.
Shit, Mason, all they need to do is sign Jay Cutler, and that just gives you a trifecta of great Denver quarterbacks there, huh, buddy?
Yeah, they're going to be plumbers next.
Yeah,
and then Orton.
Yeah. And Kyle Orton. We got 2 on the Texans, 1 on the Jets. Mason, what are you doing?
I'm really not a fan of this game. Probably won't be betting it, but I like the under, if anything. I think 32.5 points is really low, but the Jets, like we've said, they can't score, and I don't trust Siemian as the quarterback. I've watched him for many years on the Broncos. Yes, he makes a lot of smart decisions, but also has a lot of third downs that he doesn't convert. And he also has a lot of interceptions late in games when it matters the most. So I think he's going to struggle. And then I think the Texans offense could struggle against this Jets defense without Tank Dell. He's injured now, out for the year. I think defenses are going to really key in on Nico Collins. I know Schultz was out this last week as well. It'll be interesting to see if he's back. But if he's not playing, I think that both offenses are just going to struggle, and we're going to have another stinker Jets game. So I'm going to just keep riding the under.
I think the under could be a really good play if we don't see a pick six on a Hail Mary. Those are bad.
Exactly.
The fail Mary, the Hail Mary. That's I think the Hail Mary is my favorite. Man, this is another great game here that I probably won't be betting on, but I've got to play the Texans. I just have zero faith in this Jets team. This is a New York team that hasn't scored more than 13 points since they beat the Eagles back on October 15th. I still have a hard time believing that really happened, but it did. And they play good defense, but they'll give up points to good offenses. They gave up 34 to Miami, 32 to Buffalo, 30 to Dallas. So this is a team that, they can stop bad teams pretty well, as we saw at Atlanta and Vegas. But I cannot get behind this team. I don't hate the under. I don't have faith that they're going to be able to hold Houston below 24, 27 points, and I think that could possibly screw that total. They're 0-5-1 against the number since that game against Philadelphia. If you want to play a total, play the Jets team total under here, somewhere in the neighborhood of 13 and a half. I don't hate that play at all. But for the full game, I've got to back the Texans. I don't care if it's Siemian or touchdown Timmy Boyle or
no, he got released. Tim Boyle.
Did they cut Timmy?
Yeah, I think this morning, honestly.
Went from starter to the street in 2 weeks, huh? Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. Touchdown. It's instead of touchdown Timmy Boyle. It's going to be. Do you want fries with that Timmy Boyle as he is released? Well, I'm sure teams will be lining up to pick him up off the waiver wire there. So that'll be good news. Maybe you can come to Denver, Mason. Back up Russ Dangerous there.
No deal.
All right, I got the Texans here as well, guys. I just have no faith in this Jets team on either side of the ball right now, especially against good offenses. I'll take the Texans to cover the numbers. So there you go, guys. That's it.
Sorry, back-to-back lone wolves for Mark.
Yeah, we had one total kind of screw the situation there, but he's the only one on that side. So, and we'll see. And again, a quick reminder. When Mark Ruelle goes as a lone wolf, that lone wolf tends to eat a little bit. So keep that in mind as you've got 4 Jamokes on one side and you got Mark on the other side. Don't discount his picks. They've been good, and we'll see what happens. So once again, we thank you guys for watching. Of course, if you want to grab our plays like from the late game, the Sunday night game, the Monday night game, we got those available over at the Winners and Whiners site. Just hit that expert tab, do the drop down. Check out your favorite capper. We've got all kinds of packages to fit all kinds of budgets. So make sure you get involved if you want those picks as well. Let's find out where we can find these guys in case just an hour a week isn't enough. Where can we find Mark Ruelle?
You can find me, and it's on my below me there at Bet with Rue 24, and you can find me loosening up, maybe getting in for the Patriots or Jets this week if they need a backup, because I might be available.
Absolutely. Seamus, what team are you trying out for this week?
I mean, I played soccer in school, so I could probably play kicker. And for the Patriots, instead of Chad Ryland, so he missed a chip shot, so I think I could do better than that. I mean, you hear the story about Aubrey for the Cowboys. I mean, why not me, right?
Never played football.
Exactly. So I've never played competitive football. I think there's a common theme there. So we'll see what happens. I might have to postpone some of these meetings in case I play football, but we'll see.
David, I pick. Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say you can find me on Winners and Whiners, the expert page. I write stat salt articles every day. So you can find me there. I make a lot of picks on hockey, basketball, college football, college baseball, college everything. So find me there.
Very good, David. You look more like a weak side linebacker, like a Will. Is that where you played? Where'd you play, buddy? You play?
Well, I was a lot lighter when I was in high school. I did play competitive football a little bit, and then ended up making a transition to cross country and also basketball. But it was more of a safety and corner when I played.
Oh, there you go. All right, where can we find this ex-safety /corner?
Well, I'm on the Get Sports Strong on Twitter, and then also, like all of us, everyone here, you can find us on the expert section on Winners and Whiners. I do have to say on those picks, I went 5-0, and for somebody who's watching this, and they're like, "Well, you're just making that up." Great thing about our site is if you want to do a little bit of research, you can see every pick that we made last week, and
right.
They don't all win, but I'm definitely willing to stand by those results. So if you want to look at my last 2,000 picks and you have time, go ahead and do it. So that's where you can find it.
Very good. Very good. Mason, I'm thinking you were a burner wideout.
Nope. I actually had Seamus's dream. I kicked for a few years, so I did that. That was about as far as I was going into the football realm, as I was more of a basketball player, but wanted to hang out with my friends, so decided to kick. It's a pretty good time, actually.
All right, very good. Where can we find you, sir?
And you can find me
xkicker.com.
No, those days are long
fine,
over. I went out a few weeks ago and I thought I tore something immediately. So those no more kicking days for me. I'm more of just watching the sports now is my thing. But I will say all my work, you can find all me on Winners and Whiners. You can also find me on YouTube on the Winners and Whiners channel every Friday, putting out free picks in college football and NFL. And then we've got the Discord rolling where I'm talking every day, and then our TikTok account as well, where we've been hitting parlays left and right, 3 or 4 the last 2 weeks. So make sure you give us a follow over there, and we'll keep throwing out some more free content for you guys.
Very good. And I know that for those of you that follow me, I had a pretty good high school football career. I walked on at Mizzou and crawled off a year later as I had the ignominy of receiving a broken collarbone and a concussion on a hit by future Hall of Famer Kellen Winslow. So good times. They found out why slow white guys don't really do well in football at that level. Had a good time right up until then, and a tough year. Anyway, you can find me at I can't believe I ever fucking played football.com. No, you can find me on Twitter at Steamroller. Again, it's right there. My handle is right underneath my beautiful face. You can check me out there. You can check me out on the Winners and Whiners experts page. And starting in a week or so, you can go over there to the Winners and Whiners YouTube page and find me slinging those videos, just like a couple of these moves. So check that out as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to getting back in the game, and looking forward to doing it again next week with a completely different panel. Fuck these guys. Get out of here. We won't see them for a couple of weeks, and we're going to have I think that's the show. I'm trying to think. Now I think maybe the next one. We're gonna have I got it lined up today. We're gonna have a special appearance by Santa Claus on one of our videos here coming up. So we've got some Christmas game. I'm guessing it's the week with the Christmas games. You guys are gonna miss that. I'm so sorry.
If the Jets win, I'm storming that broadcast. I don't care. I'm coming in hot.
Absolutely. If the Jets win that game, you are invited to come and get your reward from Santa Claus. Absolutely correct. They win that game straight up. Very good. All right, guys. Thanks for being here, and thanks to each and every one of you for watching today. We appreciate it. Once again, I will extol you to please, if you would be kind enough to like this video. I mean, and tell us that you like it. We don't just sit there and go to your wife like, hey, that's a pretty good video. I don't give a fuck. No, hit the thumb. We want to know you like the video. We demand that you give us the adulation and praise that we so deserve. So if you would, take a minute, click the thumb. And, of course, if you haven't done so already, make sure you get subscribed to the Winners and Whiners YouTube channel. And do check out the Winners and Whiners website, the #1 site in the world for predictive sports analysis. You will find none better, as we do write-ups on each and every game every single day. Check that out as well. Thanks for being with us, guys. And we'll be back to do it again next week with a different panel. But the one thing they have in common, there's sure to be some shitty games from the NFC South. So we'll have that to look forward to. Until next week, we'll see you.